Do you hear me, Nadia?
Yeah, there's a delay though.
Delayed. Okay.
There's a delay. Is there a delay on my side when I'm speaking?
Yes, yes, I do. You know, we'll try it. Let me introduce what we are doing to our members, beautiful walkers and Walk for Life members. I would like to introduce you to Nadia Hassan, and I would like to get to know her more. So, Nadia, I saw in your Facebook post a picture of you as a child with Muhammad Ali, and it looks like he's carrying another child. He looked like he's in he is with your family members. Picture your father. I will share the picture with the group. So was that man in the picture your father too, next to him?
Yeah, I think I shared two pictures. There was one of me when I was a baby, and that was my father, yes, in the background, and Muhammad Ali is holding me as a child, as a baby.
So he was holding you as a baby?
Yes, yes.
Wow, so you were the baby.
I am the baby,
Okay.
yes.
And
I am the baby.
Your sister, one of the sisters, I feel, was she behind Muhammad Ali standing? Or maybe
I think you're referring to another photo now. I think you're referring to another photo. The other photos when I was a little older and I was standing, yes, Muhammad Ali was sitting in a chair. He was holding his daughter, one of his daughters. And I was standing in the background behind him and looking, and my brother was standing to the side of me. And so, yes, that picture was at his home. That was at his home in LA, at his house.
So it was at Muhammad Ali's house.
Yes, exactly. That one was at his house. And then the other one, the other picture that you saw was, I believe it was at a hotel. Most likely my father must have been visiting him when he was traveling somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where that was, but the story goes like this. Muhammad Ali for a while lived in Michigan, which is the hometown of where my grandmother, my father's mother, lived, and my aunts and my uncles lived. And then as fate would have it, I had an uncle who was a boxer. And so he used to, box in the gym. And I believe it was there where he and my father and my other uncle and my aunt met Muhammad Ali. Because he used to train sometimes in that same gym. Anyway, mashallah, they got to know each other very well, and they became close family friends. And so that is why in our family albums, you will see lots of pictures of Muhammad Ali. When I would, and the relationship, stemmed earlier, probably from, I'm not sure if my parents were married at that time, but I think they knew each other before, even prior. I don't know how far back, to be honest. Those details I don't have, but they knew each other even prior to my parents getting married and prior to my birth. And then later on, my other uncle, my father's brother, ended up working with Muhammad Ali and became part of the training team, and he was employed by Muhammad Ali. So in that picture that you were referencing, you will see I was wearing a yellow shirt, and on one side it said Muhammad Ali Training Camp. Actually, both my brother and I were wearing the shirt. It said Muhammad Ali Training Camp, and on the other side it had our names engraved in it. So whenever my uncle when they used to go to the training camps to get Muhammad Ali ready for his fights, he used to come back with t-shirts with our names engraved on the t-shirts for me and my siblings and my cousins, So it was the family, we called them the family t-shirts. We all had t-shirts from Muhammad Ali's training camps with our names on them.
Yes. So growing up, did you get to know him on a personal level? Did you have any conversation with him, personal, that you remember?
I mean, it's subhanallah. I think now that I reflect on his life and our life and our time together, I guess we took it for granted. We took it for granted that this was Muhammad Ali, that this was the heavyweight champion of the world. But to us, he was Uncle Ali. He was the people's champ. But to us, he was somebody where, we would go to his house and we would play with his kids, and he would chase us around, and we would take pictures, and he would play all kind of tricks and card games. And I mean, it's one thing to know Muhammad Ali from his fights, from his boxing matches, from television, from his one-liners, what his public image.
Mm-hmm.
But we were fortunate to see a side of him, to be in Muhammad Ali's presence was an experience. It's an indescribable, unforgettable experience, And like I said, we really didn't understand the value of this. We grew up, hearing all of the stories he used to tell us. And he used to tease my cousin and I all the time. Whenever we would go to their house, he would say, okay, who do you want to meet? Who do you want me to introduce you to? You want to meet Michael Jackson? Do you want to meet Diana Ross? Because these were his friends. These were the famous celebrities. This is when he had moved to LA that he lived around. So he knew Diana Ross and Michael Jackson and all these celebrities, singers that of course he never did introduce us to him, but he would genuinely say, hey, I can easily introduce you. Who do you want to meet? And we would laugh and joke. And so our friendship, our close ties, meet on a personal level. My relationship to Muhammad Ali was through the relationship of my father and my uncles and our family. They were close, and we were just the kids who happened to be the kids, who tagged along and, ended up at his house, and he would be at dinner sometimes. And so that was the relationship. But he, everybody knows Muhammad Ali for his endearment towards children. And truthfully, when we would go to his house, and just like you saw in the picture, it's not like, he would say, honey, take the kids to another room so we adults can sit. No, the kids were surrounded by Muhammad Ali. We were all around. He would love to play with us. He would love, like I said, chase us around, tease us. He used to run after my sister, and my sister, who was younger, she would scream. She was because she was really little at that time. And she would be like, just scream because, here's a big man coming after her, and she's like, I don't know who this man is. And she would be screaming, for her life. And it was funny. It was fun. So we would be around him, we would be in his company. He would play with us. He would tease us. He would, like I said, he loved magic tricks. Oh, he would love to do different magic tricks. And then he would show us how he did the tricks afterwards, So being around him was fun. It was a lot of fun. And he genuinely loved us. And to be honest, I feel like, he treated us like his own kids, like his own children, That's how we felt. We felt special. We felt special around him. But that's how he was to everybody.
Wow. From your conversation, I can see that his ability to, that maybe people are not aware of it, because even when I read Malcolm X's book, he mentioned that his kids enjoyed Muhammad Ali a lot, and they were always asking for him. And so it looks like he's able to connect with kids and on a very human.
Yeah. And I would say that's I think, Muhammad Ali had a very special gift. We all know he transcended sports and boxing, that he was one of the greatest athletes of all time, but he was so much more than that. And, he was so much more than the fancy footwork that we saw in the boxing ring and his shuffle. And, he was a poet. And he was light on his feet, like he said. float like a butterfly. And his one-liners, boy, did they sting like a bee, you know, because he was poetic and his messages, I think in his lifetime, we probably didn't grasp the extent and the magnitude of his messages and of his message to the world. And just like you said, he had an amazing ability to connect with people of all backgrounds, of irrespective of ethnicity, religion, color, gender. He just had that gift. I mean, he definitely had the gift of gab, and he had that gift to connect on a deep level where he won the hearts of the world, you know. There's nobody that didn't love Muhammad Ali. Even his opponents who fought him loved him. You know, they would attest and to their love and the bond and the friendship. Even though he used to talk some trash sometimes, you know, I'm gonna, you know, beat so-and-so and George Foreman, I'm gonna beat him down and this and that. But his talk was really talk that where he made himself believe that he was the greatest, and that was part of his success, because when you believe that you are the greatest at something, you will be the greatest at something. But there's perspective here, and you know, when Muhammad Ali told the world that he was the greatest, or when he told the world that he was pretty, there was a perspective here. There's a context. He wasn't telling people that he's pretty because, you know, he's what do you call it, like he's full of himself or he's stuck on himself. No, he was telling the world that he's pretty because he was standing up against the systemic racism and the systemic oppression of his people, of Black people. And so what he was saying is Black is pretty, Black is good. He was proud to be a Black man. He was proud to be a Muslim during a time where it was neither cool to be Black nor was it cool to be Muslim. And he was unapologetically Black and Muslim. And he was telling the world that this is who I am. And I don't have to be what you want me to be. I'm going to be what I want to be. And so his message, those one-liners, they're coded and they have so much meaning underneath the surface. And he spoke truth to power. He told the world that I will not allow you to oppress me nor oppress my people. So he was a man who stood up to the injustices against anyone, especially against Jews, because he had a lot of close Jews that were very close friends of his that we know of. You know, Howard Cosell was a very close friend of his, and Billy Crystal was a very close friend. Both of them were Jewish. And so anytime there were any anti-Semitic statements made, he would be the first to stand up and defend them, because those were his friends. He believed in humanity, and he believed in the unity of humanity, and he was not going to let anybody divide the human race, because there's only one race on this planet, and that's a human race. We are not multiple races. We are one race. And that's the beauty of Muhammad Ali's message and who he was and what he stood for in this world. Amazing, really.
Yeah, the last question I will not take, but when you attended his funeral, was there any memorable that you got out of that event, like his funeral? How was it? One story that you can share with us.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, when I was at the funeral, I was in a very different place. I attended the funeral as a representative of the Hassan family, a family who was very close to the Ali family. And so I went to pay my respects on behalf of our family. You know, my father has passed, my uncle has passed, the one who used to work for him. And so I was coming from a very emotional place. But when I looked around, you know, people were coming from all walks of life, and many people knew him. I'm sure there were many people there who knew him, who knew the family, who had met him maybe once, maybe twice. Maybe some of them knew him for an extended period of time. But what I saw there was people came to celebrate the life of a very unique individual, a very unique human being, where probably in another 1,000 years we will not have the likes of a Muhammad Ali. And so everybody was excited, and there were famous people there. There were, Jesse Jackson came, and Don King came, and Dave Chappelle was there, and Billy Crystal was there, and President Bill Clinton came to give the eulogy, one of the eulogies for him. So there was a lot of famous people that were there. And so what I saw, there was an aura of excitement to be at this event, to celebrate this great man. And so a lot of people were taking pictures and selfies and, wanting to memorialize and capture this event and make sure that they had a record of this. As for me, I came in a very different mindset. I was very sad, and I kept remembering my father and my uncle, and I was very close to my uncle. My uncle who worked for Muhammad Ali, he was, he used to always say, he loved me a lot. He loved me a lot, and we had a very special bond as well. And of course, my father is my father. So I was remembering.
Away, I mean, recently? How far?
No. They've passed away quite some time ago. Yeah, it's been, boy, how long? About 15 years ago, they passed away. Yeah, so they passed away quite some time ago. Both my father and my uncle, actually even more than that, it's more than 15 years, but they passed away within a year of each other. So after they had passed, we kind of lost connection with Muhammad Ali. But during this time, Muhammad Ali was suffering from Parkinson's disease anyways, so he was going through his own challenges and his own physical challenges. But I am in connection with one of his daughters, with Maryam, the eldest daughter. I've spoken to her several times, and actually I had the opportunity at the funeral to speak to his son, his only son, Muhammad Ali Jr. as well. I spent about an hour talking with him as well. So, back to the funeral, I was very saddened. I was grieving, So I wasn't taking selfies and putting pictures up on Facebook. I took some pictures, but I was just in my mind was somewhere else. My heart was somewhere else. And it was a very emotional, moving event for me. So alhamdulillah, I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to attend and to go. So I'm thankful.
Did it make you remember your time with your father and your uncle?
That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking about all the times when we used to get together. Before I went to the funeral, I had posted some photos of when I was young, some of my baby pictures. And I had posted a video, actually, on my Facebook page. There's a video that I believe was taken. This is, again, before I was even born. This video is a video of my uncle and my father horsing around with Muhammad Ali on the streets of Chicago. So the video opens up with my uncle, the first they come and they hug and they kiss each other. And then they start, they start boxing with each other in the street. And so then after my uncle boxes, then my father, I think they switched who was videoing, then my uncle videos my dad with Muhammad Ali, and they hug and kiss, and then they start fighting. And my father throws a punch and knocks Muhammad Ali to the ground, It was the funniest, the cutest video, and when I see these videos, it's just, I miss my father. I miss my uncle. I miss Muhammad Ali. I miss them, genuinely miss them. I'm just getting choked up just even thinking about it.
No,
So
I'm curious about how did he die? Your father?
unfortunately, he had
It's
cancer. Yeah, yeah. Allah yarhamu, he had cancer. He died from cancer. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I hope,
Yeah.
I'm sure you connecting maybe with all this and remembering will get you closer to the strength that you have.
Inshallah, yes, that's the idea.
Mhm. Much, Nadia, for sharing these moments with us. And hopefully we'll meet again.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.